Beats.
What up, what up, what up? What's good, everybody? I'm your host, Vick3, coming at you live tonight. A little crazy coming at you on a Friday night, I understand. But hey, man, that's why we call it Friday Night Live with Vick3. And, this week I'm joined by two esteemed guests, covering the best in Sixers and Eagles football, also in the Houston Texans, Houston Astros, and let's give it up to the Houston Rockets. Let's bring on my guest. First of all, from MK in the mornings, we got my guy, Money Mitch Kofsky. What's good, my guy?
Nothing much, man. I had a crazy day. My friend called me drunk and I told her to stay home. So it's just like I'm dealing with a lot.
Hey, that's good advice, man. If you feel a little tipsy, might as well stay home. No need to drink and drive.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah,
just stay home, please. That's all I
yeah,
care
please,
about.
please do, please do. And also, we are joined from the 700, excuse me, 7, oh God, it's hard to get that one out. 7,200
There you
second
go.
podcast. There we go. My guy, Coach Donte, one of the best doing the live play-by-play broadcast of all basketball, baseball, and football. My guy, how we doing tonight?
Hey man, I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure to be collabing with you guys. And like I say, man, you know my motto. I'm one hit up away, and I'm very excited for last night, and I'm ready to get right into it, man.
Oh yeah, excited as heck. Cause look, got the Sixers jerseys on. You know what I'm saying? I came to represent.
I gotta
I
rep
came
the
to represent.
birds. It's just like nothing wrong with that. I just gotta.
Hey, as long as you represent in Philly, that's all that matters right now.
Yeah.
But before we get started, let's get off to the people up in the chat. Let's show our appreciation. First off, we got Prime Time Stephen Joyce. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. Shout out to the family also, man. I hope you're doing great.
Mhm.
Thank you for coming through. Also, we got my guy Further AM. What's good, my guy? Happy Friday night. Friday night vibes tonight. Let's go.
Yeah.
Also, we got the younging Jinx Wolf. What's good, my guy? And surprisingly, we have a Cowboys fan. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate it. Cowboys fan, 1992. What was that? The last year they won, right? Or no?
It was 95. It was 95.
I'm just messing around. I'm just
We
playing.
always have to go like that every single time.
Oh, definitely. Listen, I have no hate for Dallas Cowboys fans, but I love the banter that we have back and forth. I think that's something awesome. That's something we got to keep up as long as it's respectful. You know what I mean? And he agrees. He agrees. But
Yeah.
listen,
Just telling
let
someone to come on the stream to come in. So
yeah, definitely. Thank you for mentioning that because this is a live call-in. If you want come through, I will put the link at the bottom. If anyone wants to come aboard, we can all discuss this together. Again, this is the first time me doing this show. I normally don't do Friday nights. Papa's busy with the baby and the kids, but the wife's away tonight. Baby sleeping, hopefully the whole night, so I can get it in with my fellas here. So
let's
yeah,
get
I
it.
got the link at the bottom. If you want to come through, come through. So let's see. We got Speedy. Thank you. That's formerly Sonic. Thank you for coming through, my guy. Hey, NFC East through and through. That's right, my guy. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. But fellas, let's get started. We talked about it at the top. We said, we talked about the draft. What did you think of last night overall? Mitch, I'll start off with you.
Wow. I mean, just Sixers caught me out of left field. They caught me out of left field. D'Anthony Mellon, because there were rumors coming into it that the Sixers were going to be involved in a 3-team trade, having Thibault go to the Trailblazers and have Eric Gordon come to us. And the Rockets will probably get a couple picks. Who knows what they would have got out of that. But, yeah, D'Anthony Mellon I love. But, hey, there was no big trades, though. Like, no big players. I guess Kemba Walker was the biggest one, you could say. And then you had D'Anthony Mellon, the second biggest name. But it was a fun night. It was a very fun night. I love the drafts. I do.
Yeah, it was definitely fun. And like as you mentioned with the Kemba Walker trade, when that came out, no one really knew who was in it, who was specifically involved. I initially thought it was Randolph. That was the best piece that they had. I thought they were going to try to get something for it, maybe move up the draft, but apparently it was Kemba. A lot of teams have had one their fill with Kemba Walker. The Celtics had them for about 2 year stint. They moved on from him. New York only had him for what? Only a season. He's a hometown guy. Only had him for one season. I don't know. For me, I say I like Kemba Walker. I like his value. If it makes sense and the money is right, I wouldn't mind him wearing the Sixers jersey. But Coach Donte, let me get your thoughts on last night. What did you think of the NBA draft overall? What did you take away from it?
Well, what I took away for two things. I'm not gonna get into my Rockets at this point. I'm not gonna get into my Rockets. If it's a topic on that, we'll get there. But the Kings find a way to botch it again. See, it's always a reason. It's a reason why they haven't been to the playoff as long as they did. They missed out on Luka Doncic by one pick. The best thing they did was drafted DeMarcus Cousins in his prime. They drafted De'Aaron Fox. That was the two best drafts that they had. But last night, for what I saw, Jaden Ivey is the fourth best player in this draft, and he's the most athletic player in this draft. I don't give a rat's ass if he don't want to come to you. You draft him anyway because he's just got that damn good. And you remember when Charles Barkley immediately did not want to go to the Philadelphia 76ers and he ate himself to death just to not try to get picked by them? And they drafted him anyway, and you seen the stud he became? This is what you do. This is a professional basketball league. This guy is a rookie coming in, 19, 20 years old. You dropped him anyway. It's going to work out. You dropped him any damn way. But the Kings find over and over and over. They trade Halliburton to the Indiana Pacers last year. They trade him to the Indiana Pacers last year. Their best asset they had. You seen what type of player he became going to the Indiana Pacers. Not only do you do that, you wasting Harrison Barnes' career. You wasting De'Aaron Fox's career. You give up Buddy Hield, who did not want to be there anyway. So it's a reason why they would never be good, why they will always miss the playoffs for a damn decade, and they deserve it. And this organization deserve it. And these players fucking deserve better within this organization because this organization is a goddamn joke, and that's the reason why they never gonna be anything. Why they never gonna be anything? That's the only reason. That's the reason why they would never be shit and never make a playoff push because of the drafting that they do. Jimmy Fredette came out of BYU, definitely the wrong pick. Thomas Jones, the Jones pick from out of Kansas, definitely was the wrong move. That's the reason why this organization is not going to be good because of that right there. They don't know how to goddamn draft. And nothing against Keegan Murray. He's a very good player. But again, you have to pick Jaden Ivey. You cannot miss again. And unfortunately, that's why the Kings will always be a bad team and always will not compete because of that right there.
Yeah, man. You make a lot of good points. Listen, the Kings remind me of the Cincinnati Bengals before they made this push in the playoffs. They're a team that just stay afloat. They have some names enough to sell tickets. They kind of not only even say relevant because they're not even relevant, but they just stay above water, just enough to get by. And then year in and year out, they make boneheaded mistakes. It's nowhere near the Timberwolves drafting 2 point guards before Steph Curry, but again, consistently year in and year out, Kings fail that franchise, that fan base. You got to feel bad for them. I can't see me as if I was a Kings fan, having any hope when the year starts, especially when you see boneheaded moves made last night. Like it's pretty wild. And you mentioned it, Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield could have been mentioned and been a part of so many deals for them just to get rid of him the way they did yesterday. It made no sense. It made the Kings organization look stupid. It made it seem like they don't know what they're doing. And for the most part, it's on par with what everyone thinks the Kings are. So yeah, I agree with that. But what about Detroit? What did you think about Detroit's draft picks? They had the good pick with the 1, and I believe it was the 4 pick. And
Jaden Ivey, it was a 6, I think, right?
Yeah,
it was 5 or 6.
It was the 5th pick, Jaden Ivey, and I think Detroit are one of the winners of this trade. That backcourt is going to be something special. Him, Cade Cunningham, man, that backcourt is going to be something special. And unfortunately, that's why I say the Kings will never be a good franchise, probably again. And plus, they're in the Western Conference because of the mistakes they make, and that was one of them. And when you're a team that repeatedly make mistakes and don't know how to get out your own damn way, you're gonna have a long playoff drought for a long time. But give credit to the Detroit Pistons, also robbing the New York Knicks out of Jalen Duren, one of the best centers in this draft as well, that played for the University of the Memphis. Right there, that's a great guy that's gonna be in. That's gonna definitely be a part of that Detroit organization, and I'm very happy for Detroit. They got a direction that they can go in. I don't know so much about the damn Kings, but they had a great night last night with Jalen Duren and basically Jaden Ivey. But you can argue Jalen Duren is, like I say, he's a lottery type pick guy, top 10 pick guy. So you get a top 10 talent as well at pick, at least at 12, at number 13, at number 11. Well, the Knicks traded their pick, and the Knicks did another. That was dumb what they did last night. They only did that because they want to use those draft picks as assets, but also they did that to get Jalen Brunson, which is, I don't think that was a good idea, because if you look at it, the only reason they're going after Jalen Brunson because they got Jalen Brunson's father in the offseason as an assistant coach. But why would Jalen Brunson leave the Dallas Mavericks, a playoff contending championship team, to go to where his father at, where it's still got to be more work, and then you start the growth of RJ Barrett? You don't want to get in that position. I prefer Jalen Brunson to stay where he at.
Yeah, definitely. But let me get your thoughts on the number one overall pick. The kid out of Duke, Paolo, how do you say it? Banchero? I don't know how to pronounce that.
Paolo Banchero, yes, sir.
What did you think about that pick? Did you think, a lot of people thought it was going to be Chet, what is it, Holmgren?
No, it was going to be Jabari Smith. And then at the last second, Woj tweeted out, Paolo Banchero, look out. Boom.
Yeah, what did you think about that? That was kind of surprising. Mitch, what are your thoughts?
It caught me off guard in the beginning. It did until I got that tweet. It was like, well, smart move. I really think it was a smart move. He fits that power forward role nice and smooth. I like Banchero here. Jabari Smith is the better overall player. He went through a better situation in Houston. I mean, that team just went all out. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, I'm sure. But Paolo Banchero, great pick right there. Great pick. And I just want to go back real quick to the Kings, because we all know why Foothills left the Kings fan base to come to the Sixers fan base. So there's that. And I'm telling you, man, this whole thing with Brunson, it's just like, I'm close with like Leon Rose and his daughter because they grew up around here and everything. So I graduated with her. They're extremely close. The families are extremely close for Brunson. They're treating this like Nova, like Villanova, like all family and friendly. I'm not for it. I want him to stay in Dallas. Like, come on, that's the best option for him. But let's see what it is. But for Jalen Brunson, man, do the right thing. Say your dad, I love you. I'll see you at Thanksgiving dinner. But I'm saying Dallas. I'm saying Dallas. It's kind of like, remember Austin Rivers? He flipped off Doc Rivers.
Yep. And listen, Doc ain't never regretted that a day in his life. I think he even traded him twice.
Yeah.
But Coach, let me get your thoughts on the number one overall pick from last night.
I mean, you can make an argument that all three of these guys could go number one easily, which is everybody thought the best player in the draft, which is Jabari Smith. We'll get to him later. But again, Pablo Banchero, like I say, he was linked to the Rockets this whole the last couple of weeks. He even worked out with us as well. But again, you can't go wrong with Pablo, man. He's got some great upside. He's NBA ready. We got a very good jump shot. Again, man, Orlando getting a great player. But again, if you look at his facial expression, I bet he was surprised that he got picked by Orlando. He expected the Rockets to actually pick him. That shows out it doesn't matter who you work with. You can work out with any team. You don't got to work out with them. But again, You never know who's gonna call your phone and who's gonna pick you. You just never know. You just never know. So it's not all about the workout, and it's not all about, hey, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go there. And again, I bet you he did not know that he was going to the Orlando Magic. He really wanted to be a Houston Rocket, and the Rocket really wanted him. But at the same time, Orlando is getting a great player, man. It was crazy last night. That was shocking. And OKC was solely sold on Chet Holmgren. That was they got a whole way. So even if Pablo went to number 3, if Pablo was still on the board, he would not went to OKC. They was clearly sold on Chet Holmgren because they picked them right then and there. So they clearly was gonna be picking Chet Holmgren, and then Pablo would have came to us. But other than that, it worked out for all 3 guys. Worked out for all 3 parties, man.
Yeah, it looks like it did. And listen, we all knew the Thunder were looking at Chet Holmgren. We knew they wanted a big guy. They wanted a 5, a flexible 5, and that's what they got. But what do you think his game will translate in the NBA? We saw him in high school. We all seen the highlight reels. We seen what he did in Gonzaga. But you think that he's going to translate to the NBA, or will he be like what's the other guy from the Gonzaga? I can't remember it now. Oh my God, I can't believe I lost it. He got signed by the Lakers. Adam Morrison.
No, I think he's gonna be good. I think the only thing about him, he's a little bit small. He's 190 pounds, so he's gonna have to beef up. But I think his size and his length and his long arm and build, long wingspan is gonna help him. It's gonna help him more than anything. Yes, he's gonna get bodied by some bigger 5s, but that's when that size and that size come into play. That 7-foot frame come into play, and then he's going to be able to stretch out a lot of guys on the outside to come out and guard him because he's so skilled. He can shoot and put the ball on the floor. So I think he should be better than Adam Moore. So I think he should be better. I think it's going to be a lot of upside with this guy, and I can't wait to see Chet Holmgren play. I can't wait to see him play. But OKC made the right move. But I think he's going to pan out. I think he's going to be solid.
Definitely. What do you think, Mitch? You think he'll pan out, or is that body type, like Coach said, is it a little too frail to be in the NBA?
We've seen players prevail. We've seen players go up with that body type. We've seen players flop with that body type because of injury. So it's just, to me, I gotta see it. I gotta see it on the court. He can shoot the 3. He can shoot the fadeaway like Kristaps. But when it comes to down low, he's gonna get bodied. Him against Joel Embiid down low, who will win? I mean, like, it's common sense, but it's just like, I just gotta wait and see. I thought he was gonna go number 1, like as soon as the college year started. I thought he was gonna go number 1 because I was a huge fan of him growing up and everything. But thinking about his body type now, it's just like he's gotta put on more muscle. I'm like keep on saying that.
Do you think they make a decision and move him over to a stretch 4 because of the fact that he can't shoot? He got some good handle. Let's be honest. My guy got handles. He's very smart. He can play that point guard position if he wants. I'm not going to put him on that Ben Simmons level. I'm pretty sure he has more heart and determination. But, they can move him down to a stretch 4.
Have to go that route. But, yes, he can play the 4. He can play the stretch 4. Then, yeah, I would like that. If he'll play the 4 or the 5, I just got to see how the lineups are looking, how the team is looking. I'm just telling you. SGA, I don't know how he's going to love Chet Holmgren, but we'll see how it goes.
What do you think, Coach? You think they can put him down in the stretch 4? Because his body type and the way he shoots kind of reminds me of KD. Now, I'm not saying he's the exact same player, but he has that KD makeup.
No, I think he's a 5. I don't think he's a 4. KD is a versatile. KD is a point forward. Chet Holmgren can dribble well enough to be even a 4. He's a 5. He's going to be there to protect the rim. I think he's just gonna play a lot of 5. 7 foot. He's 7'1". He doesn't have the dribbling type. He's not too much of a great dribbler to be handling the ball and breaking down the defense. He's gonna play a lot of 5. He's a versatile center. He's gonna be there for just rim protecting. I think they got a 4. They do got a 4, a good 4 on their team. That's pretty solid. I think he's just gonna be more of a 5 of anything.
Hey, sounds good. Now, let's talk about the Houston Rockets at the 3rd pick with Jabari Smith. What did you all think about that, Coach? I'll kick it off with you. What did you think about the hometowns pick?
Like I say, Jabari Smith, when he got picked number 3 last night, when Chet Holmgren got picked number 2, I was like, Jabari Smith, I was excited because the main two guys I was raving about was Banchero. If we couldn't get Banchero, I would like Jabari Smith to be on this team. Same size. I'm telling you, when I tell you this guy resume and this all of this, what I got wrote down, this guy can come in the NBA and be special right then and there. A 6'10 forward, 42% from three-point land. I think that can better easily translate to the NBA. 188 shot attempts from three and made 42% of them. He's a mid-range guy as well, 75% from the mid-range guy as well. 7-foot point wingspan, three-point ability, great shot release. He can post up, go either way, left, right. The guy defense, though, what's impressed me, this guy perimeter defense, he can switch and guard 1 through 5, so he would not be a mismatch for anybody. He can guard. See, in this league, the way people play pick and roll, you're going to need someone to come out there and switch. And Jabari Smith can do all of that. Great hands, great mobility, great footwork, great agility. This guy has all the potentials to be a superstar in this league, especially with his elite shooting. This guy can create on and off the dribble. He doesn't need a point guard to set him up. He can basically create his own jump shot because he's 6'10 and he's very mobile. This guy is a beast, man. And you can see the fire in this guy's eyes last night that he expected to go number 1. He didn't expect to go number 3. So he said in an interview, like, I got that chip on my shoulder because I expected to go number 1. I expected to go number 1. And there's nothing wrong with feeling like you're the best player in this draft because we all feel like I felt like he was the best player in the draft. He was the best player in the draft. Like I said, because of his shooting ability, his defense, the way he played defense. And he's got a very high motor. This guy is a very good. He wants to win. And I just can't wait to see him get out there. And I think Raphael Stone, the way he building this team up, man, I'm just very impressed the way he drafted the last 2 years. We got some great young talent. We don't got head cases in the locker room like a Christian would or anything. And you just got a great group of young guys, and they all young. They all 19, 20 years old. They all in the same age, and that's good to have a great group of guys like that. But Jabari Smith expected to go number 1. He did not expect to go number 3 at all. He expected to go number 1, and fortunately, he landed with the Rockets. He didn't work out with the Rockets, but he gave the Rockets his medicals. He turned his medicals over to him, and he's happy. He's happy to be in Houston. He's definitely happy. He's been tweeting the whole day about Houston. I'm ready to come to work. I'm ready to be a part of a team that won. And this is like, I'm laughing at this because I heard this morning. This is a slap in the face. You have a red carpet for you in Orlando. They pull out the red carpet for you, introduced you and treated you like a king, and they slap you in the face and not pick you. And that's just bite. That's just a slap in the face to him, and he's pissed off about it. But he said he's ready to ball. He's ready to ball in Houston. He's ready to go. He's ready to go at people, and he's ready to play.
Yeah, listen, it looks like Houston got a dog in them. So, hopefully that works out. Ever since that James Harden fiasco, they had to get rid of him. Houston hasn't been the same. They tried to rebound with John Wall. We've all seen it. That hasn't worked out. It hasn't come to fruition. But now with Jabari Smith, it gives him a new breath of life. But Mitch, let me get your thoughts on the 3rd pick of the draft.
They had to go Jabari Smith there. He was the best available. So it was great. I love that pick there. I just think it was so good. He got a gripe now with Orlando. I'm telling you, each time when he goes to Orlando or when Orlando comes to Houston, he's going to ball out. I'm telling you, he's going to be frustrated. He's going to be the Orlando's Achilles heel. So each time when he goes up to play him, it's a nightmare every single time. Orlando, I just hope you were right. It kind of reminds me of the Luka Doncic and Trae Young in that whole trade.
I thought you were going to say it reminds me of Ben Simmons and not Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, and when we got Jason Tatum. Tatum went 3rd, and we ended up with Fultz.
Now, you see, I'm trying to stay away from that. I'm trying to have a good night's sleep now. So
but you see the similarities.
Don't hide it, Mitch. You don't got to hide it.
You see the similarities.
I got a video coming out. So I'm going to save it for that. Don't worry. That's when all gloves are off. Just wait for that.
But
But
Mitch, how about Michael Carter Williams? How about him?
he
Oh
was rookie of the
my!
year. I'm fine with that. He was rookie of the year.
Huh?
He was rookie of the year.
After that, he
He was
was no more the
rookie.
same.
Hey, but you know what I gotta say? You gotta give the Sixers credit because they saw his downfall. Listen, it was after his rookie year, like he said, he was the rookie of the year, and they picked up on it. Was like, we got to get rid of this kid now while he's
Yeah.
hot.
Hey, that's just silly. He hit his ceiling at that point. He already hit his ceiling. They say, nope, you got to go. You hit your ceiling already, bro. You didn't hit it.
Yeah, but yeah, it kind of reminds me of the whole Trae Young, Luka Doncic. I mean, they had Luka there. You had Luka in your grasp. You had him in a Mavericks hat, and you go like, nah, we want Trae Young. Look what happened now. I'm not saying Trae Young is still a good player. He's like top 15, top 20 up there, but it's just like, okay, you could have had a top 10 guy of all time, one of the greatest.
I don't know. Is Trae Young going to be the next Chris Paul?
Trae
Great
Young,
point guard, good player,
he-
good good locker room guy. But then at the end of the day, he ain't going to win the big game.
at the end of the day, they both made the right pick, though. They both was the right pick. It's just Luka team is better. It's just Luka team is just better. That's all. They just built around them better. Dallas organization just built around them better. That's it. Luka, they both made the right pick. Neither one of them made the wrong pick. They both panned it out.
It was both the right pick, but if you were Atlanta, would you rather have Luka?
But the team, the organization did a lot more for Luka than the organization doing for Trae Young. They about to trade Young.
And we all know that season when the college basketball was over, Atlanta was all about Trae Young. They thought he was the next Steph Curry. They had their blinders on for Young and Young only. They wanted that little frizzy toothpick. That's what they wanted. They were stuck on Young.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And like we've all said, Trae Young is a great player. But for me personally, I don't think he can get his team to the big game. I don't think they'll ever make it to the championship.
I mean,
unless he moves on from Atlanta or Atlanta does something drastic.
He did make it to the championship game once.
The organization got to put better guys around him. That's all on the organization. Right. He can play as hard as he can. He can pan out, but the organization got to put the guys around him for him to get him in success to do that. The Dallas put a great group of team around Luka to help him be successful, and 3-and-D players around that. They both panned out. They both pretty much panned out for the team. Neither one of them was the wrong pick. It's just the organization for Dallas, Mark Cuban spending money, getting players to come, the emergence of Jalen Brunson, and just getting like a guy in Christian Wood and stuff to help Luka, give him some more weapons. And now the Atlanta Hawks organization, they may go down in flames because they about to lose Capella. They about to lose John Collins. They about to trade him. So again, I can't blame Trae Young for what's going on. He's still going to get heels, but the organization got to put him in a better situation to succeed.
Now, I actually have a question here. Richie brings up a good point at the bottom.
Yep, about Ben Simmons. Is that what you're about to say?
No. CP3. CP3. Do you have him as one of the greatest point guards of all time? CP3. Do you have him like 5 to 10 range? Because a lot of people I ask on Twitter and just like Reddit and stuff, they have CP3 in the 5 to 10 range.
I won't put CP3 5, but I'll put him top 10. He might be on that back end too. Like he might be crisping at 10.
Yeah. I agree with that. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying he's up there. Could that be Trae Young? But CP3,
he definitely can move in. He definitely can move in. Because listen, we all know Trae Young can take over a game offensively. We all know the kid got handled. He knows how to dish the rock. He's a smart player. He can be great. But again, like we all mentioned, it's all depending on the team that's put around him. That can help him out. If they give my guy a good center, if they give my guy a good shooting guard, listen, that Atlanta team changed dramatically. But again, it all depends on what the front office wants to do.
Yeah, you can't. I agree, Randall.
Top 15, they all got to understand. You can't win on the cheap.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I feel so bad for CP3, man. Like, look what he did to the Thunder. Look what he did with the Rockets, even though it was more James Harden's team.
I agree with that. I'll say top 15 too. I agree with that.
I'd say like 10 to 15.
But he definitely changed the Rockets. He definitely changed the Rockets, gave us another step up, even though we were already good before he even came here, but he put us up another level. He put the Rockets up another level. Unfortunately, he just threw his hamstring up. And, the Phoenix, the first Phoenix run in the Rockets year, that was the best shot Chris Paul probably will have to win a title.
Yeah.
I just think that championship window for Phoenix is closed. I'm sorry to say it is really close, but I do think Chris Paul is going to go out as a top 10 to 15 point guard in the NBA of all time. Even though he chokes multiple years, some years he didn't. We can't always blame him as a choke artist. Yes, we did. We could do it this year. We could definitely do it this year. The Rockets, it's not his fault. You can't coach up injuries all the time. Everybody's going to get hurt. The Clippers, one season you could put that on him because he was the reason why that OKC Thunder team. They lost to OKC because of him in that game 4. The Rockets, when the Rockets came back down 3-1, you don't give them a pass on that. So it's a series you can give them a pass, and some series that you can't give them a pass. Really, you just can't give them a pass. But this year he doesn't get a pass. Last year he doesn't. Last year against Phoenix when it was in the finals, he doesn't get a pass. He clearly choked in 2 games. 2 games against Milwaukee. So some years he can get a pass. Some years he just can't. He can't get a pass. But again, he's going to go down as a top point guard ever. He's going to go down as a top 10 to 15 point guard ever. The guy's too good. Stock on a title, has not won a title. He's another great point guard that has not won a title, and he fell twice against the great Michael Jordan, and he's still a top 5 point guard of all time. So you got to calm down on that a little bit.
Now,
there's going to be guys, even though they're going to still be considered as one of the best of all time.
Now, this one's going to throw in for a little doozy, a little curveball. Russell Westbrook. Is he in that 10 to 20 range?
Nah, Russ is 25 to 30, maybe even further now.
12, okay.
The last 2 seasons. Russ had a spectacular 2 MVP seasons where he was literally just averaging a triple-double for those 2 seasons. But since then, Russell Westbrook has been on a steep decline and is going down faster as the years come. Last year, you saw that little, argument he had with Shaq. All Shaq was simply telling him is, slow down. You're playing too fast. Everything you're doing right now is unnecessary. But Russ can't take coaching. That's his big issue. Russ can't take coaching. He's one of those star players that once he got to the NBA, I got here. I know what I'm doing. That's it. He doesn't take to coaching, and that's one of the reasons why his game has suffered horribly the past 2-3 years. You know what? Hold on. This is a good one right here.
I was going to bring up Kid next.
Before we answer, let me just say this. I got to give Chris Paul credit. He's probably, I'm going to say, the second or third best point guard that's ever came through college basketball. Jason Kidd is the one that guy right there that I might say maybe number 1. But when you got to give Chris Paul his credit, every team he's been on, he made them better. New Orleans, crap team. New Orleans wasn't even talked about. It was an expansion, horrible team. Put him on the map. When he was with Charlotte, when they were still New Orleans Hornets, put them on. Yep. When they moved to the Pelicans, I think he had 1 season of the Pelicans. Still kept it up. After that, haven't been the same. Haven't been the same since Chris Paul left. You talk about the Rockets. Put leadership, put ownership on that team.
We got even better with him. With him. He's good, but we got better. We got better with them.
The Phoenix Suns. He goes with the Phoenix Suns. They go to the championship. That's not by coincidence. That's Chris Paul.
OKC was supposed to be a lottery team. OKC was supposed to be a lottery team, and he took them to the playoffs. That was a bad
one. I didn't want to mention that because I think he did the best work at OKC.
Yep.
Like he set them up for what they're doing now.
Yep.
Chris Paul helped out so many organizations, but he gets a lot of flack for it. Like we talked about it in LA with the Clippers. Yeah, they lost. They were in prime position to be, getting those championship games. But look at what happened with the coach. The way he coached it, Doc Rivers messed that up. When you're talking about the 2 big guys they had there, DeAndre Jordan. Then you had what was my other guy, the power forward?
Blake Griffin.
Griffin
disappeared in the playoffs.
Yep.
Couldn't shoot for a damn.
Blake Griffin literally did not show up. In any playoff scenario that the Clippers had, he was a no-show every single playoff appearance. So I'm not I'm blaming Chris Paul as well, but Blake Griffin was supposed to be that cornerstone that they built around, and he did not show up in no playoff series that they lost. He did not show up at all.
Yep. Blake Griffin fell off, and he fell off hard. Even when he was in Detroit, he started getting his game back to where it is now. It's not totally back, but Blake Griffin is getting better. But I'm not going to blame Chris Paul on all that that everyone's putting on him.
I mean, DeAndre Jordan fell from grace also.
What was that?
DeAndre Jordan fell from grace also.
Yep. Again, you could only lob it up so much. Once you get into the playoffs, they're gonna lock down on you. They needed shooters, and they didn't have that. Crawford, one of the greatest six men off the bench, didn't utilize him more. Like, there were a lot of mistakes that were made with that Clippers team. I'm not going to put that all on Chris Paul. Like Coach said, one series, there was a game that he played horribly. It ended up losing. It ended up them costing them. But that's about it. That's all I'm going to put on Chris Paul.
I mean, other guys got to show up too. You don't just, one thing about it, you don't just look at one specific player. You judge it by it all. Yes, Chris Paul, you give him some blame, but also this is a team sport. Other guys got to show up when needed as well. Chris Paul choked against the Mavericks, but Devin Booker, did he show up too? Did DeAndre Ayton show up too? Did Jay Crowder show up too? The whole team didn't show up either. So Chris Paul wasn't the only one that showed up. The whole team didn't show up. The whole team got outplayed and got their ass whooped. So again, you can blame Chris Paul because he's a part of the team, but we all got to look at other guys too when it matters the most. Just like Vic said, Blake Griffin disappeared in every playoff appearance. JJ Redick disappeared in a lot of games. They had one of the most talented rosters in the best six man probably almost ever play this game, and you could not get it done. And Blake Griffin was supposed to be that number one stud of the Clippers, and he did not get the job done and did not show up in no play off of appearance. And plus, he was always hurt. He was always hurt too. He's never on the court. Yep. He's never on the court either.
Yep. And like I said, the way Doc coached those games, we're not helping at all. Time management, again, that's Doc's problem. He did a horrible job. Like I said, Crawford should have been in those games more, and he wasn't. Yep. Should have taken JJ Redick out when he was cold and put Crawford in. Would have changed the game totally. But that's in the past. Now, let's move back to the draft. We talked about the top three picks. We got into Detroit. Let's talk about the Sixers. Last night they made a move. The Sixers traded Danny Green and the 23 overall pick to the Memphis Grizzlies for DeAnthony Melton. Fellas, what do you think of that trade? Mitch, I'll start off with you.
I like it because name a player on our bench who's better than DeAnthony Melton. I'll wait. And then here's the thing. I just realized this. Who's going to be the starting small forward? Who is it? DeAnthony Melton now? So basically,
it all depends if we still keep Thibault.
If we keep Thibault, then it's going to be DeAnthony Melton. If we don't keep Thibault and get like a Eric Gordon, I would start Eric Gordon over DeAnthony Melton there. Because we still need a shooter off the bench. So I would do that. It just depends what in free agency next week on Thursday. That's when the whole starts, and that's when the whole thing. Shake Milton will win 1v1. Okay, call me when he's not injured.
My thing is with the Gordon talk, I wish that was talked 5 years ago. I don't want Eric Gordon now. Eric Gordon 5 years ago could have, contributed. Now, I don't know how much he can give. Let's be honest. And, it looks like the Sixers are really interested in him. But again, I don't know how much he can give right now. But, Coach, let me get your thoughts on the Sixers trading the 23 pick and Danny Green for DeAnthony Melton.
Yep. If y'all were to do that Eric Gordon trade, I would actually really love that trade. I think Eric Gordon got a lot left in him. He got a lot left in him. I can tell you that much. He had his best shooting year last year. And he also can put the ball on the floor and make plays and play defense. So I think he got a lot of left in him. But although in that, Shake, I love this move. I think this is a great move by the 76ers. Kevin McHale did draft him when he was in Houston, and he traded him away to the Memphis Grizzlies. You guys getting a guy that's very young, that's very athletic, that can put the ball on the floor, and that can shoot. He's a 37% 3-point shooter, so he can make shots, make 3-pointers. I really like this guy, and he can play great defense as well. So I love this guy, DeAnthony Melton, and he's better than anybody that come off your bench right now. He's better than George Niang. He's better than Corey Miles. He's better than both of them put together. He can beat both of them one-on-one at the same time. All I care about. But again, yeah, this is a great pickup for you guys. A high-level energy player with athleticism and not afraid to go to the basket. He can actually put the ball on the floor and make his own play and not just stand out there and shoot threes. So yeah, I like this pick. I like this move, and this is a great move. This is going to help the Sixers out. Now, whether if y'all pay PJ Tucker $30 million, when I'm hearing or not, which is I think he don't need that damn much money right now to get comfortable. I don't think he needs that damn much money. But again, DeAnthony Melton is a great player.
Yeah, man, you said it, man. I like DeAnthony Melton, and just like you said, he's not just a shooter. My guy can get in there and slam it home. We've seen he's very athletic, very tall, slender build, good wing guy. But what I like the most about him is he's shooting about 39% from three. He's I believe a 49, maybe even close to 50% spot up shooter. Kid plays good. He hustles. I like the move. Listen, Danny Green is what he is. He's not the best. He wasn't producing much for him. It was a move we had to make. The 23 pick at the time, I don't think there was any player that was out there that was better than Melton. So it was a good move by us.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not better than and then again, you know what DeAnthony Melton is. You know what type of player he is. You don't know what that 23rd pick was going to turn into anyway. So anyway, if it's not nothing that you guys like, you know what DeAnthony Melton is. You know he has played on a winning Memphis basketball team. He just made it to the second round and played against the Golden State Warriors. So you know what he is at this point of time. You will not know who that 23rd pick is going to turn into. You guys are in a point where you're in playoff contention. You need to win right now. You need to win right now because there's not going to be many opportunities because eventually keep failing these opportunities, that window is going to close. And James Harden, the way he's deteriorating fast, he don't have that much time. He doesn't have really that much time. But DeAnthony Melton, this is a great move for the 76ers. And this helped them win the draft too. Even though, like I said again, they didn't pick anybody. But again, the Sixers got a great player. They got a great player in DeAnthony Melton. He's gonna help your team out right now. He will be the starting small forward. That's if they don't pay PJ Tucker. Like I said, that $30 million that everybody's been linked to, that would be way too much. I would not give him a dime of that $30 million. I think he can get less, but not no damn $30 million for 3 years. That's too much for PJ Tucker.
Yeah. So for me with this whole PJ Tucker thing, the only reason I could see them doing $30 million, I would not do this. I would do 1 year, $12 million with a team option for the second year. So that's what I would do. But the only reason I see this because it's about competition, right? You don't want him to stay with Miami and have him get better because he can still play. He's still that dog. And with Joel Embiid coming out and saying that he wants PJ Tucker and that we don't have a dog like that, you got to make your superstar happy because I honestly feel like this is going to be Embiid's last year here if we don't win a title or something. It's something big. Injuries happen. Knock on wood. I mean, if Doc Rivers can do the rotations right and make the right adjustments, we could probably go up past the hump. Maybe.
True. But yeah, that's a big if with Doc Rivers.
It's just like you got to make your superstar happy. We're wasting his prime. And here's actually a fact. So the last time we were in the finals was 2000 and 2001. My favorite team of all time because I witnessed it. Sacramento Kings made the finals the year after. That was the last time they made the finals. Or was it the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah, that was the Western Conference Finals. Yeah,
it was the Western Conference Finals. If you look at that, we're technically worse than the Kings when it comes to that.
But I think we're worse than y'all. I think the Kings are actually worse than y'all.
Well, if you want to talk about the final,
but y'all both was neck to neck. Y'all was in playoff appearances and stuff by like 2005 and 2008. That's when the Kings got worse. Arguably, I did not know this till my boy Gooley on the network said this, and I said, who was saying, guess who the worst teams in NBA history was? And you know what? I thought about the Kings, but I said Minnesota is the worst franchise. Yeah, but this is why. Look at the Kevin Garnett years, though. Look at the time that they wasted his career, that they didn't get nothing around him. Besides, you go back to the Latrell Sprewell, the Sam Cassell year. Right after that year, they made the Western Conference Finals. They did literally nothing for Kevin Garnett after that Western Conference Finals. That's what I said. They were the worst organization. And I was right. But the Kings, they haven't made it in the playoffs in about 17 or 16 damn years. And that's going to continue to happen. The way that they botch draft and they don't draft well, that's going to very much continue to happen. This team right now is the worst franchise in NBA history. They don't know how to draft. They don't know how to put pieces around their superstars. And again, if Doc Rivers cannot do nothing with this Philadelphia 76ers team this year, I think he needs to be talked about getting canned. I don't know if he's going to be fired, but I think he needs to be on the hot seat. It needs to be in consideration with a full year with a James Harden, with a full year with a Joel Embiid, with a full year with a new roster. It looks like the Sixers is going to make some free agency moves. If he cannot put this roster over the top and get this team over the second round, another first round exit, another second round exit, he needs to be talked about being on the hot seat. I will actually talk about canning him this year.
Listen, Coach, I'm agree with you 1,000%, but I think Doc should be on the hot seat this season because it last year we all knew what we happened. We had a great series. When we came against Atlanta, we fell apart. We can blame it on Ben Simmons, we can blame it on some teams, but you got to put the onus on Doc Rivers and how he's coaching these games. Again, same mistakes he made in LA, he's making them in Philadelphia, and that can't go on. You know what I'm saying? If we have an inkling, like we have to start off with a bad record, for me, we're moving on. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to keep on with the redundancy. If Doc Rivers can't do better in coaching, sorry, you got to go. You got to go.
That's why I say this year, I pretty much told Mitch this too. I gave him a pass on this year because he didn't have a full season with James Harden. But again, like you said, you can't continually in a big game get out coached, and especially in the playoffs, keep getting out coached. You can't continually happen. Yes, you got a championship, but if you look at Paul Pierce and you ask Paul Pierce who you give credit for that championship, he'll say Tom Thibodeau because of how good their defense was. Because Tom Thibodeau was in Boston running the defensive principles over there, basically defensive coordinators, and he said Tom Thibodeau get that credit over there because the way he had us in defensive positions. But if Doc does not really get it done this year, another exit or a disappointing season, I think he needs to be talking about losing his job. I thought his job should be on the hot seat this year. I think he needs to be fired, to be honest. I'm not going to say they need to consider and look at him not fired. I think he needs to be fired after this year if he doesn't get it done.
You know who I look at?
That.
Higher ups. Josh Harris, the owners.
True.
You got to start off from the top. Like, people are not talking about this. I know there's some owners, I forget the guy's name here, Michael Rubin. He just showed his stake. There was another guy that showed his stake of the team or whatever. So it's like, you got to get basketball minds in that office, in that room. Daryl Morey, he's okay. He's not this big magician, I feel like everyone's claiming him to be. I don't feel like that. I mean, like, with Tyrese Maxey, right? Vic, you would have made that pick. Donte would have made that pick. Anybody on earth would make that pick. If you could honestly sit here and say you would not make that pick for Tyrese Maxey there, then I'm sorry. Because I saw this coming when Maxey was right there. I'm like, you got to get him. That's done. That's over. It's like, you got to go with the higher ups. I'm tired of everyone saying Doc should be gone. I agree. You got to go to higher ups. Like, are they watching this? What are they not seeing here? And Sam Cassell is probably going to leave to go to Utah. Yep. Bye-bye. And watch them go to the finals like Ime Udoka did and watch Monty Williams.
Listen, Sam Cassell is a guy that I think that should have been, looked at to be the coach. And also Jason Kidd, another guy who I'm a starch proponent for. I think Kidd could bring a lot to this team. Former player, good coach. We've seen what he did in Milwaukee with Giannis. Listen, let him work that magic with Embiid. I didn't understand what's to do against that. Again, we see Doc Rivers. He is the same coach that he's been since he was in Orlando. There's nothing changing. He's not switching up his game. We know what it is. We can't waste another season. If we need to move on, I say those two coaches I mentioned, Sam Cassell, Jason Kidd, be great options.
I was
You
I
know
was
who
gonna
should
say
be?
this. I was gonna
Go ahead.
literally just say this. But can you really put that on Daryl Morey? I mean, that's when you give the GM more credit. You don't find players like Tyrese Maxey without scouting them. You don't find players like that. So I can't criticize him by
I'm
making
not
that move.
criticizing him. I'm
It
just
was
saying
actually the right move.
anyone can make that pick.
I know, but not
Yeah.
anyone can make that pick. I'm not gonna lie. Not any GM see that. Like the Kings GM don't never see anything. The Kings
I'm
GM
not
never
talking about the
see.
Kings.
Well,
That's just
20, what is it? 22 teams didn't see Maxey as the player
yeah.
he
They
should have
didn't
been.
see Maxey, but he the only one. He saw him. A lot of people don't see what type of talent he got. So he saw what he got and he used him. So I can't put that on him like that. He scouted him. He did it, and the roster is right around him. The roster is good around Embiid. The roster is good. This is the time. I understand. You can tell when your front office don't know shit about the game and don't know no basketball. You can definitely tell. You can definitely tell that. But this roster right here, Daryl Morey put this roster together, and I think it's a good enough roster to win a championship. This when you got to start
With
looking at the coach.
Korkmaz, I don't know. With
I
Korkmaz, I don't know.
mean, hey, you
Don't hit on the Turkish assassin. Come
Hey,
on
I
now.
was the big Dante knows. I was the biggest supporter of Korkmaz. Dante knows. Dante knows how big of a supporter I was.
It ain't Daryl Morey's fault that Court Miles going out there and stinking up the goddamn court. It ain't his fault. That's on Doc Rivers. That's coaching for keep using them
Yeah,
and putting them in the game. I can't put that on Daryl Morey for him going out there and shitting the bed. That's on Doc Rivers from using them and putting them in the game. That's where coaching comes into it, putting the right lineup together and knowing when someone's struggling, don't supposed to be on the floor. That's on the coaching part of things right there, not on the GM part. The roster is there, but the coaching got to put the right rotation and use the rotations right. That's on the coaching part right there, not getting the job done. Then you could have won a series with Miami against Miami. Why would you have Joel Embiid out there with 28 seconds left?
Yep.
Why would you have him out there against Toronto with 28 seconds left? And we talked about this. Why would you have him out there to get bowled in the face, regardless if it was intentionally or not? Why would you put him out there? Why would you have him out there with 28 when you're up by 28? Why would you still have him on the floor at that point in time? That's a coaching issue. That's just on Doc Rivers, and he got to coach it. He got to coach it better, or not. You just move on.
Yeah,
Yep.
but here's the thing with that, right? I mean, it's just with this roster, I don't think we can get past Miami. I didn't think we can get past Boston with this bench, with this roster. I don't see it. The only way I can see it, if Embiid did not get injured and somehow, some way we will make it to the finals. But with Embiid healthy, I don't think we would have got past Boston.
But it's so
Boston was
crazy because 3
unmatched.
months ago we didn't think Boston was that much of a thing in front of us. Like, Boston was just an afterthought 3 months ago. It's only how well we've seen them perform and the fact that they got to the championship. Now it's in our head that we can't beat Boston. I think we have a good team. We need to work on that bench first and foremost. We need to upgrade that bench.
Now,
But we have a team in place.
It's down more job.
But another thing,
go ahead, Vic.
no, I was gonna say another thing that we're going to be dependent on is how serious is James Harden going to take next season? How serious is going to take this offseason? That's a big question too. If James Harden is James Harden of old, I'm talking about, Houston working on his game, coming up with new shots. If that's the James Harden we get, the no going out to the clubs, focusing on basketball, there's no stopping the Philadelphia 76ers. But if we got Harden that, you want to go out, you want to have your fun, you want to be on the Instagram, you want to do all that, then we're going to be in the same boat that we are now. Let's be honest.
It's not just that. It's not just that. Harden needs to get his SHIT together. He does.
Yeah.
But
he does.
Here's the kicker. Tobias Harris's contract. Once we get rid of that, we're going to have a lot more money to play with. We're going to have a lot of more wiggle room. But right now, he's untradeable. No one wants to take that contract. So I feel like we're going to be stuck with Tobias. And Tobias is unhappy with his role. Tobias wants the ball in his hands. You're not going to have the ball in your hands when you have Maxey and Harden there. And with them being in post. You're not going to get the ball.
That's something that Toby got to understand. He got to learn where he fits in. Like if you're not putting up the numbers as a shooter, don't expect to be shooting. That's something Tobias needs to understand. because he wasn't putting up those numbers this year. He had a down season. But you mentioned one good thing about the front office and changes needed to be made. This week in headlines, it looks like there is a certain rapper that is interested in purchasing the 76ers.
All
What are
right.
your thoughts on Rick Ross, the biggest boss that you've seen thus far? Buying the 76ers. Mitch, Money Mitch, let me start off with you.
God damn. I mean, Rick Ross, come on, man. Like, really? Does he know basketball? Does he know anything? Like,
Hey, Rick
no.
Ross is the CEO, so he's seen inmates playing basketball all the time. He got to know a little something.
I mean, I don't know, man. I can't take it seriously. I just can't. I mean, dude, I don't know. I'd rather have, you know who I'd rather have?
Who's
I'd
that?
rather have Iverson, but the Sixers don't want him part of that organization. I'd rather have
I
Iverson
think
than Rick
there are a lot
Ross.
of quality people. Like if you even look at Dr. J, if he was back in the ownership group or something like that, there are a lot of people that could put this team in the right direction. But I don't know. You know, it's they got to get the money right. That that's the biggest thing. You get the money right, I'm pretty sure they'll make a move.
Yeah.
But coach, what are your thoughts on Rick Ross's interest in the 76ers?
I mean, whatever it do to get some people in free agency to come to this team, hey, you do it. But I mean, does he know anything about basketball? But sometimes, man, you do it because you want to put people in the stands. You want to get another influencer guy that can bring some people to Philadelphia. That's why they do it. But we want to see what happened though. As long as you can get some free agency to come in, be a part of this team, then that's fine with me. As long as you get to build a championship team and having Rick Ross being an influence guy, that's pretty. Hey, as long as it helped the team out, it's fine.
Hey, that's a name that could bring in free agents. And this is what I said. You can't get any worse than an owner than James Dolan of the New York Knicks. So that's the floor. You can't get any worse than that. So I'm fine with it.
If I mean, the Kings owner, Kings.
You can't get any worse than the Kings or the New York Knicks owner. You can't get any worse.
Listen,
or the Brooklyn Nets, or the Brooklyn Nets right now.
Well, at least they're trying, though. You got to give them that. The Nets at least try. Kings
they're
don't.
Trying with Ben Simmons.
Kings don't try.
Listen, let's be honest. When they went for Ben Simmons, they thought that they were the smartest person in the room, thinking that they could, get him back on the court and get him playing to what he was before.
Joe Castro trying to convince me otherwise.
Man, listen, Joe Castro can go to hell with that. He needs to stop with all that, Nets love. That is a horrible team who makes horrible decisions. They try, but again, heart's in the right place, but the mind isn't in the right spot. And they do things horribly, man. Listen, I guarantee you, KD right now is working on a way of getting out of there. With Kyrie about to be gone, and let me bring it back to the question that that Jerry Lee had about Kyrie. What is his situation going to look like? Looks like he doesn't want to be with the Nets no more. So that whole failed experiment with Harden, KD, that's done for. The one thing they should have understood was the weakest link was Kyrie, and it's always been Kyrie. Everybody knew that. You get a different Kyrie every day. So you can't trust in him. The Nets should have known that. You can't trust in him. When Boston wanted to get rid of him, when Boston wants to get rid of a player, watch out. You know what I mean? The writing is on the wall. Don't mess with it. Leave it alone. But they didn't. They made that move, and now they're going to have to live with it. They got Kyrie for what? A season and a half, I want to say? With the suspension this year and all said and
Not
done?
even, because of the whole CV-19. Not even that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was out for most of the year. I think he came in for the most part just in the playoffs. Yeah. And listen, let's be honest. Kyrie's a great player. Probably has the best handle in the game. Can attack the basket better than anyone else who's ever played the game. But his mental is so off. I don't know why any team would want to invest in him. It's crazy to even think of that.
I'm gonna have to pop off. Thank you for inviting me, Vic. Thank you.
No doubt.
I always love talking sports with you, Coach Donte. Obviously. Last question before I head out.
Go ahead.
If the Sixers had the opportunity to trade for KD and they wanted Maxey, would you do it?
And wait, you're saying the Nets want Maxey for KD?
Yes. Would you do that? Donte said no when I asked him. What was that? Yesterday or 2 days? That was yesterday, right?
That was yesterday, and I said I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the move.
if I'm looking at that deal, you're looking at KD with what? Probably 3, maybe if you can squeeze out a 4th year, 4 years left, and you have the unpotential ceiling of Tyrese Maxey. Right now, I'm going to have to agree with Coach. I wouldn't make that deal. And yes, I understand if KD's on this team, it makes the team exponentially better. But again, for how long? We've all seen how these experiments worked out before, where you can get a player that's, up there in years. We'll see if we can bring a championship. It doesn't work out. And what happens to that team? You're stuck in cap hell. You're stuck trying to rebound after that deal. So for us right now, it doesn't make sense for Maxey. Hell, they want Thibault. I'll do it all day.
Of
I will
course, I
do
would
it
do
in a
that too.
heartbeat. But right now, Tyrese Maxey, we don't know what his ceiling is. And the kid's only getting better. So I'm going to hold on to him.
Okay. All right. I just thought I would ask because I'm still thinking about it. So it's just like, what does Chris Webber have to do with anything? He's the one that cost Michigan a timeout. What did he do? All right. I gotta pop off. I'll talk to you all.
All right, man. Thank you for coming through, my guy.
Have a good night.
Yo, you too. All right, Coach, it leaves the two of us.
Let's go.
So we talked about the NBA. We got a full hour in. Let's try to move it over to the NFL a little bit. Let's talk about the Eagles. They've been making headlines as of late, but there was one specific Eagle that I wanted to get into. Because you know me, I like the big guys. I'm a former lineman myself. Got to show love to the big guys up front. This week, a lot of people were talking about the contracts that were made and started getting to look into Jordan Mailata's contract. And let me ask you the question. Do you think Jordan Mailata's deal has the best value in the NFL?
It got the potential to have the best value, man. That guy was really, really good on that offensive line last year. I done seen this guy takes a lot of people up the field last year, pancake a lot of people. So his deal definitely has an opportunity to have the best value in the NFL. The way this dude can block, he is big, he is strong. I mean, I done seen him drive a lot of people that he went up against up and down the field. And like I say, I like this. I like Jordan Mailata. I think, like I say, this offensive line is the best offensive line in football. So I like Jordan Mailata, and I think he's got the potential to be the best valuable deal in the league this year. I think he got an opportunity. He got a chance.
Yeah, it definitely does, man. Listen, he's right now ranked as the 4th highest left tackle in the league. And we all know where he came from. The kid only knew football for maybe like a couple of months. He just knew the name of American football. Really didn't know what it entailed. Came through, worked with Jeff Stoutland for about a season and a half, ended up becoming a starter in the league. And played wonderfully, admirably enough to earn himself a contract. A contract which I feel is probably has the best value for, the amount of money he's getting and, the output, the production he's putting out in the field. Yeah, we locked it down with a very good player. Now, when that contract's up, we're going to have some tough decisions to make because he's going to command a lot of money. He's probably, at the time I projected, probably the best or the second best left tackle in the game. He has that ability to be the best. And like we said, he doesn't have any wear and tear on him. Again, this is his 4th season. This is his 4th season in total in playing football. It should be 5th, excuse me. This should be his 5th season. But you got to admire that from the guy, and he's only getting better. He's another guy where we honestly can't even think about where his ceiling is right now. He's getting better every day. And, for us, we're benefiting from it.
Yep. I like Jordan Mailata, man. I just think he's a solid player, man, and he's one of the best offensive linemen in the game already, man. Despite not playing football long, that shows, like I said again, that he's very well coached. He's coachable, and he's willing to learn. And man, I really like Jordan Mailata, man. I really like what he did for us this season.
Yeah, he's extremely coachable. Like, this kid has surprised so many. I'm probably going to say, could it be possibly the best undrafted? Well, he was drafted the 7th round. I was going to say if he was undrafted, he'd probably be the best. But the best 7th round ever picked. But again, the best international player that's ever played for us. That's ever played in the game of football, period. You can say kickers out there, but I'm not going to really consider them as football players. They do their work. They do their work in very confined spaces, very protected. I'm not going to put kickers out there. But I want to say he's probably the best international player ever. What's good, East Coast Gridiron? Thank you for coming through, my guy Donte. Hey, and if you haven't, please go to my guy's channel. Hit that subscribe button. My guy's working on some great content coming out every week with great stuff with my guy, Coach Donte.
Yo, man, y'all come check out that San Diego series, man. We going crazy over there. Going crazy over there, man.
Heck yeah. And let's talk about this. The Eagles made a move this week to get, if I mispronounce this, I know I'm gonna say it horribly. Jaquiski. We got to get the pronunciation on that first name.
I know that I got
Jaquiski Tart. Right? Is
Jaquarski
that how you say it?
It's
Jaquiski?
Jaquarski Tart.
Jaquarski.
Tart.
Listen,
Yeah.
you making me use all the vowels and consonants. But what did you think of that move coming through, from the Niners? We all know that, we were looking at staring down the barrel of Marcus Epps starting this season. I, for one, was saying that, I think we needed some competition, and the Eagles followed suit. They got some. But what do you think about this move?
I don't think it's I think it gives you depth. I don't think it's really nothing special. I think he declined a couple of years ago. Yes, he plays every down. Yes, he plays in a lot of games. To be honest, I would still have Epps and Harris, over him. Really, like I say, he did drop an interception that cost him a Super Bowl last year. But other than that, he's just I will value him as a depth piece. I know a lot of people value him as a starter. Is going to be a starter, but I think, like I say, you don't know, like, just because you're bringing him in, you would never know what you got if you don't try, if you don't give Epps a chance, give Epps an opportunity, or if you brought him in for Anthony Harris. Anthony Harris was the 13th ranked safety last year, 13th ranked safety. So he didn't have a bad year. I had him as a 16th ranked safety. I had him as a 16th ranked safety on my list. I had him as a 16th ranked safety. Anthony Harris had a damn good year last year. So if anybody that didn't think he was very good, hey, I don't know what you watched actually last year. But again, I will actually still have Marcus up in him over Tart. I think Tart just give you a solid depth piece, but I think he declined a couple years ago in San Francisco. So yes, he played. He's valuable. He plays a lot, but I just think it's nothing that I can really jump up and down for.
Yeah. Well, when you look at it, again, like I said, we needed some competition, especially with the safeties. You have Kayvon Wallace. Now we have I just forgot his name, Jaquette, however you say it. I'm still messing up my guy's name. It's gonna take me a while. We're gonna call him Tart. So we got Tart now. We have Epps, Harris. We have some competition, but no one's really setting themselves apart. Anthony Harris, again, he had a good season. This is one thing that, like you said, a lot of people say that he didn't have a good season. I didn't hear Anthony Harris' name mentioned for any negative plays, any bad plays. So again, that's starting off on a good spot with me. There are no negative plays coming from him. I think he had a quiet season. I think he played pretty good, especially when you talk about the other end of Rodney McLeod being gone for most of the season. I think he held up admirably. And I like the fact that we kept him around and we gave him another chance. Because another season under this defense, I think he's going to end up playing better. And it's only
Yep.
going to benefit us. But going
Yep.
forward, we're still going to be next year, we're still going to be in the same position. We're still going to be looking
Yep.
for a safety. We're still going to be
Yep.
second guessing ourselves if we should have drafted one or not. We
Mhm.
won't know if Marcus Epps is the guy. But again, if he can't, play up to par, then we're going to be in the same position where we're looking for two safeties next season. And we talk about the draft picks that we have, very high draft picks. Who's to say that we might not have to use one of those on a safety next season?
Yep.
But it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be good competition. Let me ask you a question because I did mention him, Kayvon Wallace. When he came in hot, had a lot of things to say, was on Twitter, was throwing it out there. Second season, he had himself a piece of humble pie. He backed off the social media a little bit. He focused a little bit more on his play. But again, even though in the second season, he still isn't the player that we thought he would be coming out of Clemson. What about this year? Do you think that, Wallace will be able to step it up? Or is Wallace just best to be a backup player?
I just think it's best for him to be a backup player. If you can't show your rookie year or last year that what you about for the coaches, convince the coaches enough to give you give you an opportunity, then hey, I just think you either need to move on, you need to even move on, or you just need to be a backup. It's just not going to happen. But first of all, let's start by running your mouth first. You got to always play before you run your mouth. When you play on the field, you can actually have an audacity to run your mouth. But I don't think really he has an opportunity. He's going to have an opportunity as long as Harrison is healthy and Marcus Epps, and now you got Tart there. I don't think he will, unless a dramatic injury happen. I really don't think he sees a chance. I really think his opportunity is over with in Philadelphia. I don't think it's over in the NFL, but I think he doesn't have an opportunity. I just really don't think he has an opportunity with this team. He has several chances in practices and training camps to show what he's about, but obviously he's not impressing the coaches. And if he was any type of good, he will be over Marcus Epps and Anthony Harris at this point. I just think you need to either move on from him or he's a backup. But I think the Eagles may consider moving on from him.
Yeah, I agree. Right now, I think he's a death piece, special teams guy. He hasn't shown anything his whole time here. Again, there was a lot of hype, but again, he has not lived up to any of it. And we see him. He gives the good comments out there. He's doing his best to work on his game. He's focusing more on his game. But none of that is translated onto the field yet, which is it's kind of sad, especially where we got him in the fourth round. We had a lot of high hopes. We thought he was going to be the next Brian Dawkins. He's
Yep.
been nothing of the sort. But hopefully, this year he can put things together and, show something. Show something that
Yep.
he hasn't done before.
I mean, he's on his third. I think he's on his third year. So at this time,
Yep.
when you're on that third year rookie deal, you all have been shown what you have, and this is the point of time. When you ain't showing what you have in your rookie year, is a team that's not going to hesitate to let you go. And I just think he really hasn't shown enough what he could do. And I really think for the Eagles and his sake, it's time for just to move on. It's time to just move on for Wallace, and maybe he can get another opportunity somewhere else. It just clearly hasn't worked out the way he wanted it to, in the way the Eagle organization expect them to probably work out. So it just didn't happen for him.
Yeah, definitely has not. But let me move over on defense. Let's move over to another position, the defensive tackles. Now, this year
Okay.
we made a lot of moves to beef up that defensive line. We have Javon Hargraves. We have Fletcher Cox. We have the newly, drafted Jordan Davis. A lot of people are high on the kid. And we also have last year's pick in Milton Williams. But let me ask you, there's a free agent out there that I find interesting, and in Dominic Sue. Now, we talked about the beefed up line that the defense have, but if the opportunity presents itself, would you be willing to go out there and get Dominic Sue too to beef up this line even more?
I mean, you can never have enough guys. You can never have enough depth. You always want to put much depth as you can in any type of position, but also you don't want to stunt a growth of the players that's up and coming as well. But again, right at this point, Sue is he is a rotational player at this point. He's going to be a
Mhm.
rotational player at this point to put in. So I wouldn't mind for the Eagles to go out there and get more depth. It's never enough. You can never have enough. Never have enough receivers. You're gonna always need competition in every level. This is what the game is for. If you're not willing to compete, you're not willing to play. You shouldn't be on the football field or in the field if you're not willing to compete and stuff like that. So at this point, he can be a depth piece. He can be a piece that can be a rotational in and be a good leader in that locker room. He's a guy that has been there. Yes, he made some dirty plays. He's made some dirty plays on some quarterback. He stepped on a man's foot, but you would like to have a guy like that in the locker room, someone that knows the games, that can teach these young defensive linemen, that can coach them up as well. Someone that has won a Super Bowl, believe, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So again, that's someone that you can just bring in to be the leader in that locker room and be the leader in this defensive line room, period, though, and use as a depth piece in just case someone get hurt and be a rotational player.
Definitely. I find Indomitian Sue intriguing. I love the pedigree that he brings. He's been with some of the greatest defensive coordinators that have graced the NFL. You're talking about
Mm-hmm.
Bo Pelini. You're talking about Wade Phillips. Like the list goes on and on. And
Todd
we've
Bowles,
seen,
even Todd Bowles,
yep,
yep,
Todd Bowles. He's a championship caliber player. He's been through the league long enough, and I like what he could bring over to the rookies. Could you imagine what he can learn? What Jordan Davis can learn off him, and a Fletcher Cox,
yep,
and a Javon Hargraves. That's a wealth of knowledge to bring onto the team. And like you say, he'd be a good rotational guy. We talked about his
yep,
past. We know, like people like to say, he had dirty plays. He had his issues in the past, but that's all been in the past. He hasn't been the same guy since. We saw him in Tampa, exemplary guy. We saw him with
Yep.
LA with the Rams. Great player, great locker room guy. They have nothing but the best to say for Sue. So for us,
Yep.
I think it's very intriguing if the Eagles will go out and pick him. Like I said, he would be a great veteran presence. He would be fits the cap. Hey, if the price is right, we always
Yep.
say make the move, and it's great for that rotation. That would be a beefed up rotation, especially with what we're trying to do. We're trying to flex in between the 4-3, the 3-4, and a 5-2. There's a lot of versatility, and with that guy on the field, he can do everything. He could be your nose
Yep.
tackle. He could be your guard. He can do a lot. So I think for us, if the price is right, I'm all for bringing in Dominic and Sue over to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm all for it too as well. Again, you want someone that can help that rotational piece out, man, and also be a leader in that locker room as well to the defensive end to the defensive line room.
Yeah. And speaking of the defensive line, let me get your thoughts on Fletcher Cox. On Wednesday's East Meets West show, me and AK had a discussion. Now, AK believed, as do a lot of people, and I'm not saying that this won't happen. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just run it down. AK believed that, Jordan Davis can come into the season and start right away and potentially have Fletcher Cox traded off the team maybe after week 7 or 6. Now, Fletcher Cox just re-signed this year for a $14 million contract. We all know how the NFL works. Sometimes it goes because who's the highest paid gets that opportunity to play on the field. But we also know that Jordan Davis is a rookie, and you can't really expect much from rookies. We all know that. But at the same time, we've seen rookies come into the league and play exceptionally well. But that remains to be seen. We haven't even had training camp yet. But let me get your thoughts, Coach. What do you think Fletcher Cox has left in the tank for this year?
I think he has a lot in the tank. I think he still can provide some value. Last year, for what I saw, I mean, he didn't get a lot of sacks, but he got a lot of pressures last year, and he opened it up pretty much for these other guys, like a Sweat, like a Javon Hargraves. But I believe Javon Hargraves, what I looked at, is good on his own. I believe he can. He's very good. He's very good as well. But Fletcher Cox having that off him on that defensive line, and like I said, another guy like we talking about Sue can be a leader. Can be a leader in this defensive line room. Knows the culture, can teach a lot and also Jordan Davis can learn a lot from Fletcher Cox. What Fletcher Cox has done, he can learn a lot from him as well. But I still think he got something left. I still really think he got something left. Like I said, he was high. He was high in the rankings on PFF. He was high, and I had him pretty high too on the defensive tackle list. And man, this guy still can put in the work. Again, this guy gets back out to the backfield. He doesn't get the sack, but you don't always need a sack to create a lot of pressure. You're just opening up for other guys. But I believe he still got he got some good miles on his body.
Oh, definitely has miles. Listen, I think Fletcher Cox, like I mentioned on Wednesday, I think he's in the position now where he needs to earn his next contract. He's not someone who's okay with retiring or okay taking a back seat after the season. He feels in his mind he's still a starter and he can still play. And just like Brandon Graham mentioned this week, if the Eagles don't feel that, they're right for him going into next season, he's open to playing for another team. We seen this year when the Eagles, they let him go. There were no other offers for Fletcher Cox. We got him back at 14 million. We kind of bet against ourselves. It is what it is. The deal's been made. But again, Fletcher, I'm pretty sure is going to do everything he can to show that he's supposed to earn another contract, whether it was with Philadelphia or not. He's going to put himself in the best position to do so. So I think, for the young boy Jordan Davis, he's going to come in. Hopefully, he can play great, but he's going to have a battle against the veteran Fletcher Cox to start. Again, I'm not against it. I think if he can do it, then by all means. I'm one of the only people that says it's not a popularity contest. It's the best players deserve to be on the field. Whether it's a rookie, whether it's a veteran, whether you make 14 million, whether you make
Yep.
500,000. I don't
Yep.
care. I just want the best product on the field. But
Yep.
right now, I can't see Jordan Davis as a rookie and say that he's automatically going to be a starter. I get the
Yep.
hype. I've seen what he did with Georgia. He's a phenomenal player, great talent, but I can't say that he's automatically going to come in and start.
No, I can't say that either. He probably going to start off as a rotational piece as well, and at least something going on with Fletcher Cox, or he's hurt or something like that, or he's not performing. Jordan Davis has a right to be out there if only if Fletcher Cox's not performing and not playing well or injured. Like I said again, I can't just say like you said Jordan Davis can come in and start him right away. I can't say he's going to be a problem right away because he's not a starter. So I can't say that. I can't say really how big of a difference he's going to make. Yep, on some third downs when you got teams in running situations or second and ones when you need to stop the run. Yes, he's going to get some rotational minutes and get in there and have his opportunity. But right now, it's going to be hard to kind of judge him a little bit that he's going to be something because he's not going to be starting. He's not going to be out there full time on the line all the time. So again, that would be Fletcher Cox spot. I think Fletcher Cox right now gives the Eagles the best chance to make plays and to win ball games on the defensive side until he's hurt or if he's not performing. And if the Eagles see that and make that move, I mean, hey, you go along with it. But like I said, you just want the best guys out there, the best 11 guys that's going to put you in that position to win and make plays.
Definitely. And speaking of the best 11 guys, also this season we got out and we acquired a cornerback, James Bradbury of the New York Giants, formerly of the New York Giants. Now, a lot of talk has been made of him, being the second cornerback. We got him paired up with Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox. But there's some things that concern me, especially when he was in New
Mhm.
York. We've seen a lot of teams take advantage to throw his way, and it didn't work out for him. Now, with here being in Philadelphia, a lot of people say a lot of the pressure is going to be taken off because he'll be the second guy behind Slay. But again, I still think the same inconsistencies that he had in New York still stay with him in Philadelphia. What do you think of James Bradbury going into the season?
I think James Bradbury, I think he's best as a man to man corner. I think he's best as a man to man corner. I don't think he's best at zone because a lot of his plays that he gave up is come off zone coverage skill type of plays. So again, when you're in zone, you're gonna have guys that's gonna get confused in the secondary a lot more. But when you're playing man to man, hey, I know who I got. I know I can stay with this guy all day long. That's pretty much James Bradbury. That's how James Bradbury, had his years in Carolina and had his years right there pretty much with Patrick Graham because most of the time, sometimes they kind of mixed it up, played zone and man to man. But when he actually played man to man, Bradbury was very solid. He was very solid. But I think, like I say, when you play zone, you're gonna get mixed up a lot. You're gonna have some miscollapse and miscommunications. But again, having Levante Maddox and having Darius Slay, having good cornerbacks like in James Bradbury, I think it can help him out now that you got Darius Slay. But that doesn't mean people are not going to chance him more. That doesn't mean people are not going to throw at him and give him an opportunity. So again, he's still a solid player. He's still a very good player. He's still a very good cornerback, and that's another reason why I say let's give Marcus Epps and Anthony Harris. Anthony Harris did not have a bad year. He had an awesome season last year. While you're trying to go out there and get another safety, having good cornerbacks and having three shutdown cornerbacks help that safety position out a lot because they don't got to do much. Now you are more You can be more versatile with the safeties now. If you want to bring them in the box, the blitz, you can bring them in the box because you got cornerbacks that you can guard one-on-one with that can guard their man now. So now the safety become more versatile now and get into that quarterback, and it helps their job out a little more easier.
Yeah, listen, I have my issue with Bradbury. I think he's a very good player, but again, there's some things that he needs to clean up on his game. Hopefully, with him being the second guy, a lot of pressure is taken off. But my main concern is with Darius Slay being as good as he is, a lot of teams might not focus on his way, and might
Yep.
focus on Bradbury, and that's where we may fall into some issues.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I mean, just because he is an okay corner, that doesn't mean they're not going to go his way. They're going to go his way. They're going to go his way. Trust me. They're not going to too much probably test Slay. They're going to go Slay way every now and then just to test them. But most of the time, they're going to go James Bradbury way. They're going to try to hit the middle of the field up and test the linebackers and stuff like that. Those are the ways that the offense is going to continue to go. That every offense is going to try to run the football and have a good running game. But so you're going to see more opportunities for Bradbury to show what he really is. To show what he really is. And you definitely going to see how good of a linebacking core you guys really got when people are throwing the ball over the middle or how good the linebackers can cover. You're definitely going to get a test out of that.
yeah, definitely, man. It's going to be interesting to see. The one thing I will say, if Bradbury does not work out, we have three other corners that we haven't even taken a look at in Tay Gowan, Zach McPherson, and Vincent Jr. Those guys still need to prove themselves. So, this training camp, there's going to be a lot of competition, especially with the corners and the safety. We're going to see a lot of guys moving around, a lot of different looks. But one thing I want to ask you is this offseason, there's been a lot of subterfuge, if you want to say, a lot of mystery, a lot of cover on what this defense will look at like this season. They talked about us using the 4-3, maybe going into the 3-4, and even potentially the 5-2. With so much uncertainty what's going on, and with so many players that we brought in to beef up this defense. What's your trust level in Coach Gannon? Do you think that he'll be able to improve on what he did last year, or do you think that we might be stuck with a lame duck this year?
Last year, let me get your team. The Eagles was ranked 18th in the National Football League overall on the defensive side. Most of that 18th was because when you played against quarterbacks like Teddy Bridgewater that doesn't throw the ball up the field, and you play against guys like Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, guys like that don't really throw the ball up the football field. The Eagles know how to guard stuff They know how to guard that. So when you're not actually playing against a good quarterback, they actually know how to play good on defense. But when you look at it, the quarterbacks that they struggled with last year was good, very good quarterbacks. Justin Herbert, Tom Brady, Derek Carr, the very good quarterback. I think this defense can hold up a little bit, but how good can they hold up against a very good quarterback, against an elite quarterback? That's the answer question right there. Can they hold up against a very good quarterback? And I don't know. If Gannon cannot, it's no excuse for Gannon. I mean, you got a Son Reddick right there. You got two good corners. You got three good cornerbacks at that. Got a defensive line. Now, what is the plan? You got some safeties. You got two good safeties. You got one of the top 13 safeties in the league in Anthony Harris. Now it's time for him to step up. Or, like I say, his head going to be on a spike this year if this defense this defense should not be the 18th ranked defense this year. It is too good to be the 18th ranked defense this year than what it was last year. If this team is the 18th ranked defense again, I will fire Jonathan Gannon. I will fire literally him if this defense be 18th and down there 20 in the NFL. I will literally fire him. If this defense is too good to be in the top 20, nearly be in the top 20. This defense should be at least a top 10 defense last year. And this is his year. You got the right pieces around you. Last year, people gave you some credit. We didn't give you a little bit of a slack because you didn't have the right pieces. You did not have the guys. This year, you got the guys. So it's no excuse for Jonathan Gannon. He got the guys. No excuses for him this year.
Definitely. I feel the same way. Listen, we all know last year, one of the biggest excuses Jonathan Gannon had was he couldn't fully implement his defense because of the lack of linebackers that we had. Well, this year, Howard Roseman went out and did some shopping. He went out in the draft, got Nakobe Dean. He went out in the free agency, got Kaiser Smith. He beefed up that linebacking core. So that's been taken care of. We all know what happened to the defensive line through the draft and through free agency. We got right. We have some issues at safety, understand. But again, we have enough at cornerback, at linebacker, and at defensive line that the safety should not be an issue. Not as big of an issue, but it shouldn't be the whole thing. It shouldn't be a grand issue. Anthony Harris is not no slouch. Anthony Harris can take care of that. Now, Marcus Epps, if he can play up to it, then that's great.
Yep.
If we don't, we ended up getting Tark to try to fill in. And
Yep.
he's a hard-fought player, too. He plays to the end of the whistle. You know what I mean? He's all about that life, which, it's exciting. So for me, Jonathan Gannon does not have an excuse. My thing is that I hope is he has a plan. Because it sounds like right now he's all over the place. It sounds like he's still trying to implement and put a defense together. We're 80 days away from September 11th. We need to get it together now. Because once training camp start, everything needs to be in the playbook. These guys need to know what they're doing. They don't need to be thinking about what play they are. They need to be instinctual. They need to react. So Jonathan Gannon needs to do everything he can to get his shit together and get it together now. Because again, if there is any issue this season, I'm not even trying to give him to the whole season. You're gone.
Yep.
If we're playing horribly by the fourth, fifth game, I have no problem getting rid of a defensive coach during the season.
Yep.
It's not working. There's no reason for you to stay around. We saw what you did last year. Hey, you were looked at for head coaching positions. Hopefully you can land on your feet. By then, I won't care. Like I
Yep.
said, there are no excuses for Jonathan Gannon this year.
Yep.
He better get a plan together and stick with that plan. Now,
Yep.
again, no excuses. You have your team. Let's see what you can do. Nick Sirianni is kind of in the same boat, but again,
Yep.
I'm more comfortable with Nick Sirianni because he seems like he got his stuff together. He has a plan. He's following through with it. Coach Gannon, not so much. He's worrying me a lot.
Yep. The problem with it's only one problem I got with Nick Sirianni, and that's it. Would you come out with the same game plan that you did at the end of last year that got you successful? That's the one little problem I got. But other than that, I can trust him more than I trust Jonathan Gannon. I just want to see when he comes out. And like you said, it starts with training camp. We need to have an identity in training camp. We can't go into the season making excuses saying we don't have an identity. We have a lack of identity. Well, you have a whole OTAs, you have a whole training camp. So what are the excuses at this point? That you don't have a whole identity. You're not trying to hear excuses right now. You're not trying to hear excuses at this point. You have a whole training camp, whole preseason to figure out what this team and who's going to be on this team and what this team identity should be and what we're going to do and what system we're going to run. You have a whole training camp to adjust that. You got plenty of time, and plus you had OTAs, even though you don't do a lot in OTAs, that's just more strict and conditioning, but you still by training camp, you still got a training camp, and you got to figure out what your identity is. What we're going to come out and do. We're going to run the football more, or we're going to pass the football even more. And that one thing about it, I hope he goes to the same game plan. Do what got you best, what got you wins. I don't give a damn who gets frustrated. You're just trying to win games. You're not here to make no goddamn body. You're not here to appease any damn body. You're here to win football games. If you think to running the football is going to win you football games, you do whatever it takes to win. You do whatever it takes to win. If you think passing the football, the running game is not work, and that's hot, then you do it. But running the ball should be their identity at this point. It will open up A.J. Brown. It will open up Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. Stick to your identity. Like Jonathan Gannon said about Jonathan Gannon. You need to have an identity. You need to figure out what you're going to run by training camp. You need to figure out what players are supposed to be out there, what players don't supposed to be out there. You need to have an identity. It starts at training camp. You're not trying to hear excuses right now. You're not out here trying to appease people and make people happy. You're trying to win football games. That's what you're trying to do.
Yep, definitely. And the one thing I'll say about Coach Sirianni is I like the fact that he came out early saying, I no longer will be calling the plays. That will be handled by Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator. We all know last year, like you just mentioned, what happened in that Bucs game. Well, Nick Sirianni started calling the plays. That's exactly what happened in that Bucs game. And we fell back to just like we did in the beginning of the season, reverting to the same mistakes that we did. Now that, with Shane Steichen calling the plays, I feel more confident in his team, like you said, that we will be a running team. We will run the ball first before we pass. Those first and second downs, a lot of people might say that's boring, but guess what? It moves the ball down the field.
Yep.
It gets you to a first down. That's all I care about. Getting the ball down the field, getting more efficient on offense. And I think Shane Steichen is the guy that'll help us out. We saw what he did in San Diego. We saw the development he had with Justin Herbert. Now let's hope that, let him do what he does. Like you said before many times, let the coaches coach.
Yep.
Let him see what he does with Miles Sanders, because that's one guy that I think that will benefit greatly with Shane Steichen calling the plays. Because we all seen Miles last year. He had the yards. He looked good at times. He was hurt. He was, often hurt. But the one thing that, we didn't get from him was scoring. Was non-existent in the red zone. And that can't happen this year. And that's why I think things change with Shane Steichen. He's going to get plays. He's going to get Miles open. And I think he's going to talk to Jalen and make him understand that, although, sometimes you might see the running lane open, follow the play first. Don't automatically go for that run play. If the play breaks down, then by all means, create. But let the play, see that the play, follow through with the play first. If it breaks down, then do what you do best. But you got to give Miles a shot in the red zone.
I definitely like that term when you said let the coaches coach. You will never know what you got. It's just like having a player. You never know what you got, what kind of coaches you got if you don't let them teach, if you don't let them coach up their positions. Like I say again, I'm glad he gave the play calls to James Steichen because last year a lot. Like I say, he finally figured out. Again, it took him against the Detroit Lions to figure out their identity, and that takes too long to figure out what your identity that you should be running the football and stuff like that. At the beginning of the season, it was a mess because he tried to outscore people, tried to come out and outscore. He tried to go score for score. You seen that against Kansas City. It didn't work out. You damn sure see that against Dallas. You didn't even try to run the football against Dallas. You just came out immediately and feel like you just had to outscore him by throwing the football like 40 times. And Jalen Hurts just not that type of quarterback right now. So be throwing the ball 40 times and then you overusing his arm. Now when you see when he didn't throw the ball a lot, when he stayed in between that 15 to 20 range, you can see a lot of life was on the football. And that's how you protect Jalen Hurts and you rest his arm a little bit. Go run. You got the best offensive line in football. Why not change? I don't care if it's A.J. Brown there. I really don't care. Stick to your identity. Stick to your identity. Play ground and pound football, and the rest is going to open up. But you got to have that right by training camp. You cannot, just because you got A.J. Brown, you don't have to feel like you have to make him happy just because, hey, this is his best, Jalen Hurts' best friend. They'll be force feeding him and throwing him the ball every time. Stick to what wins games the best. That's running the football, and that will open up the whole field for the rest of these guys. And like I say, man, if Miles Sanders in the running back room can stay healthy, I have no doubt they're gonna be fine. But it all starts with the coaches putting these guys in the right position, putting these guys in the right position to win. You just want the best 11 players on both sides of the football. That's all you want. You just want to put these guys in the positions to win game. And that's all up on the coaching. You have no room for the excuses this year. Nobody's not trying to hear all these excuses this year. That is all on the coaches. You got to have to establish the identity before the season start and during training camp. That's where you work on everything out and knowing who's supposed to be on the field and knowing who's not supposed to be on the field at that time.
Yeah. Listen, it's going to be very intriguing, especially with Miles. Like I said, Miles Sanders. I mentioned it before. He's facing an uphill battle. He has the fourth toughest schedule for running backs going into this year. We all know everything that's been said about him. He has a lot going for him. But like I said, I think the fact that Shane Steichen is calling the plays now, it's going to help everyone on this offense, especially when we talked about Jalen Hurts. It's going to open things up for him. And speaking of Jalen Hurts, we've seen in the news lately, we've seen the pictures of him and A.J. Brown working out. Let me get your thoughts. Do you think that, them working out so much together is going to translate onto the field and early with chemistry? Because we all know sometimes when players come through, especially with receivers and quarterbacks, it takes them a while to develop that chemistry. But like I said, we've seen A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts day in and day out working out together. So do you think that's going to translate, to having great chemistry instantly? Or do you think it may take him some time?
It's going to take him some time. I'm not going to say, anybody can go on in the offseason and throw a ball to a wide receiver, throw a ball to a wide receiver when nobody's on them. It's different. The chemistry is different from off the field than on the field. The chemistry is totally different when you get on the field. You may not be on the same page all the time when you're on the field, when you're playing against another 11 guy. So I get that they're working out together and they're doing whatever it takes to get chemistry. They have the chemistry off the field. Of course, they're close. The team is close now that everybody's going out, but you need to see that chemistry on the field. That is totally different when you're on the field. Like I said, you can be good off the field, but on the field is a difference. It's a different story. I'm not going to say they're going to come out right away and tear it up. It's going to definitely take them some time to get in action when they're on the field. Off the field is a lot easier than on the field.
Yeah, definitely. Let me get to these two questions because I like them. They're interested. The first one, let me ask if you think this is right. Miles Sanders will have 800 rushing yards and 5 TDs this year. If Miles were to have those said numbers, do you think that Philadelphia will bring him back?
I think they would consider, but it depends on if he's healthy. If he's healthy, Miles Sanders can get over 1,000 yards. If he's healthy for a full season, the best offensive line and the way he runs the football, he can get over 1,000 yards. And I think, and more touchdowns than that. And I think, and that will be enough to entice Philadelphia to sign him. As long as he played for a full season, I think he can get over 1,000 yards. I think he can get 1,000 yards, at least 1,000 yards, if he stayed healthy. Look, the man was rarely healthy. He still got over 700 yards. He still was healthy. He wasn't even healthy, and he still got over 700 yards. So I have no doubt if he does stay healthy, he will get 1,000 yards. And not the only way he doesn't do it if he's not healthy or if Nick Sirianni doesn't give him the football in goal line situations. I can't blame him last year for not scoring a touchdown. That's on coaching taking him out and him not being available. So I can't blame him for not scoring a touchdown. But due to his injuries last year, he still had over 700 yards rushing last year. But when he's healthy, fully in the fold, he can get 1,000 yards. He can at least get 1,000 yards and at least 6 touchdowns.
Definitely. Listen, I think for the most part, the rushing yards may be a little bit low. I see Miles maybe in the high 890s, 900, crest, like just close to 1,000. But those 5 TDs, I think, are spot on. And listen, that's a vast increase from last season, from nothing to 5. Listen, that's a good jump. I'm good with it. I think if Miles does end up with those numbers somewhere close or surpassing 1,000 yards with 5 TDs, it's time to re-sign the kid. Now I'm not trying to break the bank for him. I'm trying to get a hometown discount. I'm trying to get a running back on a budget.
You gotta try to get anywhere and try to get anywhere where you gotta break the luxury on them. No, y'all let him go before I can get to that point. I'll let him go and walk before I get to that point.
And Miles has to understand his situation too. He hasn't been producing enough to earn top money or top 20 money. So listen, if we can get him at a hometown deal at a good rate, help out the cap, I'm all good with bringing Miles back if healthy and if he produces. But the next question I wanted to get to was this one right here. What do you think first and second will have in the East? Their win totals, it looks like. How many wins will it take to take the East?
I think it's gonna take. I think it's gonna take at least 10 to win the East. I think, but I got the Eagles going. I think it's going to take 11 this year. I got the Eagles going 11-6. I got the Cowboys going 10-7, possibly wild card spot for them.
I'm right there with you. I think it's going to take 11 wins to win the East. I think the Eagles, could get it. For me, they're in that 10-7, 11-6 range. Just 1 to 2 games better than what they did last year. And again, that's all I'm looking for them to win one more game than they did last year and go further in the playoffs, one more game or more than they did last year. I think, but 11 games sounds about the right number to win the East for this upcoming year.
Yep.
Do you think the Eagles have better offensive weapons than 2017? Undeniably, yes. Way better. Now, listen, Blunt was a great running back. We had, Alshon Jeffrey, a great wide receiver in his respect. But when you look at A.J. Brown, you're looking at Smitty, you're looking at Quez, you got Miles, you got Boston, and you have the incomparable Jalen Hurts, and not to mention Dallas Goedert. I'm going to say we have way more weapons than what we did in 2017. What do you think, Coach?
That's kind of tough cookie to have, man. Alshon Jeffrey, when that dude was healthy, that dude was a beast, bro. When that dude ever was healthy, bro, that dude was, like I said, a beast, dude. Torrey Smith was a guy that takes the top off the defense. Zach Ertz was really, really good, man. LeGarrette Blunt, every time he got the football in the end, as far as the red zone or get a first down, he was getting there. He was no doubt getting there. And then you even had Corey Clement too, who can come out.
AJ Ajayi.
AJ Ajayi, that was very good too as well. Man, dude, that's a tough ask, man. I think they almost got them to me about the same team, man, to me. But like I say, if you want to, or you can argue either way, man. You can go either way with this question, man. They both of these teams are talented. But the only thing about that team and this team, I gotta see this team on the field. To get my answer, I gotta see this team actually on the field. We saw that team on the field and they delivered a Super Bowl. But right now, I got to see this team on the field to prove to get my answer on that part.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, Miles Sanders for Tre'Davious White, I'm going to do it. I'm all for it. That's a cornerback of the future. Listen, I would do that 10 times over. Sold. Where do I sign? As soon as possible, I'll do it. That's a great deal.
Yep.
But do you think they'll have chemistry now developed? Yeah, I think we just answered that pretty much. With them working together, as much their relationship together, I think they will have chemistry. I think it will be sooner than most, just because of their relationship together. It's kind of them. Same with Derek Carr and of Devontae Adams. They've been
Yep.
best friends since college. They have a good relationship. They are next door neighbors, and this whole offseason they've taken that time to work together. And I expect both teams, both quarterbacks and wide receivers respectively, to have that chemistry with their quarterbacks. Yeah, I
Yep.
think that's gonna happen fast. Listen, if Sanders could have over 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns from your lips to the big guy's ears, hopefully that's something that could happen. Let me see, Coach. You want to answer this one?
What do
It
you
says,
say?
"Why are people saying that we're overrated?" And Coach Donte, don't take my word on this, but Dante said that it will be hard, but we can take the division.
Like I said, the only reason people saying you're overrated because you haven't played yet on the field. You haven't played yet on the field. Like I said, I'm not gonna say you guys. Like I said again, I'm on the same path. I gotta say, I'm not saying you guys overrated though. I'm not gonna go that far and say that this is a good team on paper, but I would love to see them play on the field first before I see this dominant season. Like everybody's saying, this season gonna be dominant. Think it's gonna be okay. Well, I don't think it's gonna be okay. Well, I think there are gonna be some tough games that you guys still gonna play due to schedule. I think the harder teams basically will be the divisional teams because those are the teams that knows you more than anything. The divisional teams knows you more than anything, so it's gonna always be hard. It's gonna always be a struggle. It's gonna always be a struggle. But I'm not gonna go that far and say the Eagles are overrated. But again, I'm not gonna say how good they are till I see them on the field.
Hey, you have that 1,000% right. The Eagles are good on paper. On the field, we don't know yet. Everything looks good the way it's drawn up, but again, we don't know how that's going to work out on the field. I agree 1,000%. Hey, what's good, Paul? Thank you for coming through. Hey, I think Miles can have over 1,000 also if healthy. Yeah, I don't think the Bills would be interested in trading for Miles Sanders, even though they do need a running back. They did pick up James Cook in the draft. That should pay dividends for them. But yeah, I don't know if they would do it. But again, if that trade was offered, I'm signing on the dotted line as soon as possible. That would be what's good. AK, appreciate you for coming through, my guy, my brother from the other mother coming through, supporting us. But yeah, man, listen, I think this season is going to be very interesting. Like I said, on paper, we're looking great. We're looking in good shape. The offensive line looks good. The wide receiver core looks good. Running backs room. A lot of people say that they're really good. They're better than what we believe they are. But I think we have an okay running backs room. I think can get us by. Quarterback, we're in good hands. This defense, aside of the coach, I think that we're going to have a good, strong, fast, punishing defense. It all depends on what the coaching staff does with it. That's my biggest concern right now. But on paper, like I said, it looks like we're going to be a great team. Do you have any prediction of this season? Do you see any issues coming up for the Eagles?
Like I said, I see a lot of. I see some early season issues. I think it's going to be some early season issues, but y'all also a good enough team where you can just kind of fix them, kind of fix the issues. I think it's going to always be a struggle. When you playing against, even when you playing against a really what a person when you're playing against a person but at the same time, they haven't played with each other yet. When it's when game time, real time, they playing with each other now. Jalen Hurts, Derek Carr, they all playing with each other now off of the field. But on the field, like I said, I think it's totally really real different. I think they're gonna have some struggles early in the season. It's gonna take them some time, but I think they will get over it. I think they will probably get over it. And I think it's gonna come. I think it's gonna start. They're gonna hit the set in the middle during the season. By week 5, week 4, I think they're gonna start to get the feeling of each other as well. It's always gonna take some time when you got some new people coming into your organization. And even when you got your buddy that you've been knowing, it's gonna take some time to communicate with each other, to get going on the field with each other. It's gonna take some time, but eventually, I think this team is gonna be good enough to fix whatever they got going. But then again, it's on the coaching staff, man. They got to keep this team together throughout the struggles, and they got to keep this team afloat throughout the wins, throughout the whole wins. I say it's going to be a struggle during the season, but I think they're going to do enough. I think they're going to do enough to get by, man. Like I say, 11-6 is enough to get by, man. I think they're going to figure it out. They're too good of a team, like I say, to not to figure it out. But on paper, I just would love to see this team, how this team orchestrate on the field. Yes, week one against the Detroit Lions, it may go great, but I'm not going to jump up and down on the week one matchup against the Lions. You got plenty of season left. We got plenty of season left.
Yes, we do. Let me get to this because I've seen it in the chat. The Eagles will lose to the Texans, but then we got over here my guy Vinny Wahlberg saying Texans going to be an easy game. Right now, as we said, on paper, because neither team has taken the field. What do you think realistically will happen once Houston and Philadelphia match up against each other?
I love it, man. All I'm gonna do is clap my hands. You know, I don't do talking like that. We'll find out, bro. We'll just find out, and we'll see. We'll find out. We'll just find out.
Looking like a trap game.
Listen,
I will say this though, and I wanted to mention to you because I saw your quarterbacks list. I thought it was awesome. Listen, everyone, if you have not seen yet, please go on my guy Coach Donte's channel. He put down a great breakdown of all the positions in the NFL, listing everybody, and his quarterbacks list did not disappoint. Now, Davis Mills, I believe you had at number 20. Now, a lot of people were talking about Davis Mills, and what I feel was disrespectfully talking about Davis Mills, putting him at maybe 29th or 30th in top 23 quarterback list. Let me get your quick thoughts because I thought out of all the rookies last season, all the rookie quarterbacks, he had the best season. And, he has the most to build on to this season. They got him some backup. They got some wide receivers for him. But as a Texans fan, let you take the floor. Explain to the good people why Davis Mills is a top 20 quarterback.
Because and first of all, Cowboy fan, I respect you, but I think we go 7-10. The easiest is 8-9 because I counted the Cleveland game as a loss. Depends on Deshaun Watson, but now I think we can easily win that game. Most likely win that game, but I got us going 7-10. 7-10. I just want more than 4 wins next year. But other than that, I put Davis Mills top 20 because again, most people just slapped Davis Mills in the face like they didn't see Davis Mills play. They had Trevor Lawrence over him, Zach Wilson over him, Justin Fields over him. I had him at number 20 because I could have put him over Matt Jones. I could have easily put him over Matt Jones because you can argue he had a way better season. He had a better season than Matt Jones. The difference between those two guys' numbers, Matt Jones played more games than Davis Mills, and he was put in the right place, just the right place with a Bill Belichick coach. So again, Davis Mills played only 11 games last year, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Almost caught Jalen Hurts in yards, to be honest on that. Almost caught him in the yards, actually. I believe 67 of his passes. He had 6 300-yard games. He had 6 300-yard football games. He had 6 of those games. And Davis Mills got great arm talent. We had arguably had the worst receiving core in the NFL. We had the worst offensive line in the NFL. I know we was last in running the ball. We was 29th in running the ball. But to go through all that and still have that type of season, that's pretty good, man. That shows you the upside. But now, not overhyping him. I want to see what he does this year. I want to see what he definitely does this year. I think he's definitely pretty much, if he doesn't have the better season than what he did last year, I think we're going to be looking for a quarterback next year. But like I say, I'm hearing some good things out of Davis Mills in OTAs, and he's starting to become a leader. I really like his upside for Davis Mills, man. I really like him, man. So I got him number 20. I could have put him over really Matt Jones, but I think that's a fair for me to put him at that spot. And people don't know it's hard to make a list back to back like that, man, because you're going to put some guys over somebody that you really don't like, that you really don't think. You're going to miss out on a couple of guys. So when I was doing those lists, I have to actually think. So it's not easy to do none of those lists, man, especially all positions. It's not easy. It's hard, and it took me a grind, and I had to think about that all. I did those lists all night, back to back, but it's hard to even do lists like that and put together a list like that because When people focus on when you're doing stuff like that, you're focused on what other people are going to say. Why this person ain't there? Why this person ain't there? That's what messes with people. But it doesn't mess with people like me, probably you, ECG. Like, you got to give a good opinion why you got these people over this guy. Why you got this guy? I didn't have Josh Allen on my list. I should have had Josh Allen on my list on the defensive ends against the Jaguars. But again, I should have had Max Crosby on there. I didn't have Max Crosby on there because I thought it was some guys just as better, just as good, just as better. Like I said, I'm a type of guy, I don't look at sacks. I don't look at the higher sacks or nothing. I look at the pressures and look at how better you're making your teammates are. That's what I'm looking at. So the high sack number, just because you got better stats than someone, that doesn't make you a better player. Like Devontae Adams, I still got him number one. Cooper Kupp had an 1,800-yard wide receiver year. But Devontae Adams is actually, we can all agree, he's a better receiver than Cooper Kupp. He's a better receiver than Cooper Kupp. So that's how I value, and it's hard to do things like that.
Yeah, definitely. Let me get to this because we talked about this. We talked about this earlier. And, for you, congratulations. Let me just say that because nephew of Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, Archie Manning has decided to commit to the University of Texas. Now, we know you have your issues with Coach Sarkisian, but what are your thoughts on the young Manning coming to Texas?
Hey, I love it, man. I didn't think ECG, give credit, shout out to ECG, man. He hit that
Calling it, yes.
He called it straight up that he should go to Texas, but he building his own legacy. And I like that. But again, like I say, everybody know how I feel about Steve Sarkisian. But it's good that he know how to recruit guys. It's good that he getting guys to come in. Maybe that's going to entice other guys to come into Texas to play because he did have some issues with the kids in the locker room. We got a couple of 5 stars that moved on because of his issues, but having him coming in and getting a great quarterback like Arch Manning, man, I'm very excited for this program. And shout out to ECG again, man, East Coast Gridiron, man. He hit the nail right on head in that show the other day when we was on it. He hit that nail right on the head, man. And he got that pick right. And I'm happy for where this Texas program going. And I just want to see this team get back in the fold and get back to the college football playoff like we used to be. So it's a huge move. Just got to give credit to Steve Sarkisian, but I want him to coach his ass off on the field. We know you can get recruits. God damn it, do your job on the downfield as a coach.
Well, I like the fact that Archie picked Texas. Ever since Mac Brown left the University of Texas, it hasn't been the same.
Yeah,
they tried to get guys in there and it just didn't work out. For better or for worse. And now with Archie, he put a lot of light on Texas right now. There are a lot of recruits that that were looking to Alabama, to Georgia, and those schools. They're now looking at Texas like, well, hold on.
Yeah,
they got a guy. They got a guy in the locker room that can control this offense, that command this offense. And we all know with Coach Sarkisian, he's a mastermind when it comes to the offensive end. That's where he got to where he was. From USC, now he's coaching Texas. I see a lot of big things. I love the fact that this kid's paving his own trail. He's not going into the mold of his uncle or his other uncle Eli. He made his own waves. He's taking his own step, and he's starting a new tradition in Texas. Hopefully he can get it back to hook 'em horns, get it back to the old great glory days. But a lot remains to be seen. But it's very, very intriguing that Archie picked Texas, and I think they'll benefit from it.
Yep, I love it, man. It's a good stepping stone going back in the right direction, like you said. They haven't been right since Mac Brown left. And Mac Brown was fucking great at recruiting, man. He meant so much to the recruiting business, man. It just, like I say, and the Steve Sarkisian to pull this out, I got to give him credit for this, but I do not like him on the field. I want to see him improve as a coach on the field because we shouldn't have lost that. We shouldn't have went 5-7. We was halfly better than most of those teams in the Big 12. We should have actually went. We should have arguably went 7-2, went 7-3 last year with this roster that we had in the leads that we had in the second half. But this is a great stepping stone for the program, man. Getting Arch Manning and just getting a Manning, period, man, is going to draw the attention along to this community, college community right here. Just get a Manning, period, just going to bring attraction to the college, right? Texas University.
Listen, if you're a high school receiver, you're a 5-star. Your first thought won't be Alabama right now. It's not going to be Georgia. You're going to want a guy that can throw that ball. Because let's be honest, Alabama could be as great as is, and Georgia too. They're not really getting the
Yep.
best quarterback prospects. I
Yep.
think for Georgia, the last best quarterback prospect they had was Matt Stafford. That was over 10 years ago. Alabama,
Yep.
you could say Tua, I guess. You could say Jalen, but
Yep.
let's be honest. When they were in high school, they weren't being looked at as number one overall picks, or they were going to lead
Yep.
their team to any championships. They were capable quarterbacks, but no one was looking at them to be the top pick in any draft. So yeah, with
Yep.
with Arch Manning going over to Texas, yeah, it brings them a lot of hope. It puts Texas back in the
Yep.
spotlight. It put Texas back on the map. But let's be honest, college
Yep.
sports in Texas wasn't the same since they haven't been playing good.
Yep.
So yeah, congratulations to him. Congratulations to the Horns. Listen, we've hit the 2 hour mark. It's been a good night. I've had a great time. Um, Listen, let the good folks at home know where they can find you, my guy.
Hey man, y'all know y'all can find me. Y'all can find me everywhere on YouTube. Not everywhere because I don't support everybody, man. I support the people that I basically collab with every single day. But y'all can find me on the Spotlight Sports Network, play by plays. Y'all can find me at Coach Donte on YouTube, Coach Donte on Twitter, Coach Donte on Instagram. And y'all can find me also at the East Coast Gridiron as well. I'll be on there as well with my boy ECG Vick3 and my boy Don. And y'all can just find me all over the place. I'll be collabing with AK and all of these guys, man. All these guys, my folks. We not cool just on stream, off the stream as well. We all as a family communicate with each other. But man, like I say, anytime like I'm one message away. Anytime anybody want to collab, talk football, it just hit me up on Instagram. I'm always answering. So on Twitter, I mean, I'm always answering, and I answer my Instagram as well. So I say, man, appreciate you for having me on. It's always a blessing, man, with working with you and stuff like that. It's great for you to be running back number 2. We can be the best running back town in San Diego State. We're gonna bring it up, man.
Hey, we about to get back-to-back Heisman's. That's what we about to do. Listen, let me shout everybody the 10 that was in the chat. Appreciate you all for coming through, man. Listen, um, I had a great time with you, Coach. I thank you so much. Everyone that's out there that's watching, if you can, please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to hit 200, trying to reach that milestone of hitting 200. Not there yet. I believe I'm about like 25 off or something like that. So if you can, please retweet, share this out, spread the content out so that we can get it going. I'm trying to help build something big, and I can't do it alone. I'm going to need y'all to help me out with this. But listen, Coach Donte, I appreciate you. Mitch Kofsky, Money Mitch, thank you so much for coming through. My guy had to step out, but I appreciate him. Appreciate him for coming through. Um, it's been a great show, my guy. Thank you so much. Everybody watching now that will be watching later, thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this show. But for Vick3, Coach Donte, Money Mitch, it's been a great week. This has been Friday Night Live with Vick3, and we out.
Arvita.